through that, maybe we can find the method. The Bible plainly says that when David played on the harp, that Saul was comforted. Here's another word. Actually, the Bible used refreshed, and that's a word pronounced ravak, and it literally means to breathe freely. And if you think about it, if I'm waiting on a tax bill to get here, and I'm thinking that thing's going to be $1 million, and it's not, what's the first thing I do? I can breathe freely. And so that's kind of fitting there. So in my mind, that brings us back to what Saul was actually going through. When you get a load off your mind, you can almost breathe freely. So clearly this demon was affecting the mind and the soul, the thoughts of Saul. And the only way that a demon, again, can affect your psyche is to somehow achieve that spirit-to-spirit communication. And that's the key here. You ever heard a little phrase, an idle mind is the workshop of the devil? That's a very true statement. And if you think about it, Satan's able to get communications to you when your mind is idle, when you are in a situation where you are not actively engaged with something with your mind. You're not have something that's thought-provoking, or you don't have a singleness of mind. And then you think about some of our forms of entertainment. You know, Alton Booth told me one time, he said, Robbie said, you watch a lot of movies on TV, and I forget what I said back then, but he said, did you know that the word amusement in the original text means no thinking? I didn't know that, but I remember that from many years ago. And you think about it when you're watching a movie or something, or you're reading a book maybe. Not this book, though, not mine. But you certainly can, you get carried away in it, and your mind drifts, so to speak. So in these times of inattention, if you will, the demonic spirits are able to get their suggestions through to your spirit, your soul. And another time that you're very vulnerable to these voices is obviously under the influence of drugs and alcohol. And doesn't that just make sense? I mean, how many people who are under the effects of drugs and alcohol ever make the right decisions? They always make the wrong decisions. And most of the time they make decisions that alter their life for the rest of it. It can be. And it can be even worse. So it appears that if someone mixes an idle mind with drugs and alcohol, that they basically will be getting what is a strong array of suggestions from their demons. And this literally creates a cocktail, pardon the pun, for disaster. So it appears that that's how demons get through to us, because when we're actively engaged with something, our mind doesn't wander. And if you're like me and most people, when your mind starts to wander, it rarely wanders to biblical, godly things. Is there anybody in here that happens to you? Boy, I admire you if it does, because most of the time your mind wanders to somewhere it doesn't need to be wandering to. So if we have a kind of a biblical precedent here that has taught us that demons have the ability to speak to or at us, and at certain times we are able to get their messages even though we can't hear them with our physical ears, which is basically what we got from the episode here with Saul. This communication between the demonic and our soul is evidenced further in our dreams. Is there anybody in here that can actually orchestrate their dreams? The answer is no. You can't orchestrate your dreams. Are your dreams not nutty and wacky and twist all kinds of places? It's my personal opinion that 95% of the dreams we have are demon voices. We respond to these voices. How do we respond when we're unconscious? You know, if your demon's with you 24/7, and at least part of your life he is, he knows what's impressive to you and what ain't, what appeals to you and what don't, it doesn't really have to read your mind. That's another lesson. Demons can't read your mind. And in our society, though, we always say, you need to talk it out, talk it out. Well, if you talk it out, guess who's listening? So there's some problems with that. Some things are better left unsaid, I promise you. Because Satan will take that and he'll turn it on you. Demons will do that. All right, one other thing I'd like to point out here is that in Saul's case, this is a clear picture of demon obsession and not demon possession. There are two totally different things. As I said before, I believe that Saul was a saved man. So 2 Corinthians 6:14 plainly tells us that there's no fellowship with light and darkness. If I have the Holy Spirit in me, no demon can get close to that light that God is. So a saved person, a truly born-again person, cannot be possessed by demons. But they certainly can be obsessed. And so what is obsession like? What does that look like? Well, I liken demonic obsession to hearing a song on the radio that you absolutely despise from the very first time, and then you can't get it out of your head. You even start singing the thing. You ever done that? I have a couple of times. I hate that song, but I can't get it out of my head. That's what these demons do. Demons don't take breaks. Demons don't sleep. They don't go to the bathroom. They don't eat meals. What they do is scream at you 24/7, hoping to get a word in edgewise and cause you to feel a certain way. That's how they do what they do. And you can imagine, if I'm beside Roger Brown 24/7 saying, Roger Brown, you're handsome, you're handsome, you're handsome, you're handsome, I tell him that 24/7, he's going to walk around all cocky and think he's doing something, you know. And I don't know about you guys, I don't know if this is an old movie. Anybody in here ever seen Always? Richard Dreyfuss in it, John Goodman, Holly Hunter. Do you remember the scene in that one where the guy, he's sweeping, he's whistling, he's happy as he can be. And Richard Dreyfuss is the guy who died and came back as an angel, to help out somebody else. But this guy, he's sweeping, he's happy, and as Richard Dreyfuss walks by him, he says, you look goofy. Kept on walking, and the guy, all of a sudden, he stopped sweeping. He got kind of sullen, and he walked off. But that was a beautiful